When you're a kid, there are already so many rules that you have to follow. Don't put that in your mouth, don't touch the stove, it's hot. And if you have kids, then you know it's a daily struggle of watching them like a hawk. Well, when it comes to the royal family, they are no different. Although they may have added a few extra rules that we're sure the royal children must find so annoying to follow. But before we dive into today's top 10, make sure you check out our brand new playlist for all of your royal family news. That way you're all caught up on the latest royalty. And with that out of the way, let's smash that like button and get right into it. Coming in at number 10, no keeping gifts. Being a royal means that these kids are going to have to get used to an outpouring of public attention and affection, which usually means being showered with all kinds of different gifts. In fact, when Prince George was just 18 months old, he received a ton of gifts, in fact 7 times more than the Queen. According to a report from Kensington Palace via CNBC, back in 2014 they listed that Prince George received 774 presents in the course of a year. Although the annoying thing for little George is that he was not allowed to keep most of the gifts that he received. The royal family has very strict rules on what can and cannot be kept, and according to the royals official website, a gift from someone not personally known by the family must fit a very specific criteria. They can only accept consumable items within reason, so flowers, I guess, edible flowers, I don't know. Plus, books are allowed, but the author must be speaking about a non-controversial subject, and other small items that cost less than about $200 are also permitted. The main reasoning behind this rule is that the royal family does not want to appear that they are under any obligation from the donor for accepting their gift. Coming to number 9, no nicknames allowed. Now this one seems really particular, but again, this royal rule is put in place to show respect to other members of the royal family. Royalty are expected to be addressed by their full name, which means their given name rather than a nickname given to them by their family. Additionally, it's usually expected that they will also use the royal family member's title when addressing them. For example, when William married Kate, she immediately started being referred to as Catherine, Duchess of Cambridge. Imagine having to always address your wife like that. "Excuse me, Catherine, Duchess of Cambridge, what do you want for dinner tonight?" Now, with that said, there are some royals who have broken this rule since they were young. For example, Harry's given name is actually Henry, or to make it even more formal, he should be addressed as Prince Henry Charles Albert David of Windsor, but he usually just goes by Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex. And believe it or not, but the same rule also applies to royal children. Coming in number 8, multiple languages required. The royal family must embark on a number of trips around the world to perform their royal duties, and in preparation for that, the royal children must also learn multiple languages. Now, as a kid, being in school can become annoying, and especially when you are told that something you don't want to do is mandatory. However, this is an excellent rule for the royal family to have. Learning a new language expands the way that you think, and you start to process languages and information from this new perspective. It's probably one of the best things that you can do for yourself, and the royal children start learning at a very young age. The goal is for them to at least become fluent or fluent enough in multiple languages to understand and speak with people all over the world. Prince George and Princess Charlotte are said to have already begun learning Spanish, and considering how young they are, they still have tons of time to become fully fluent in the language. Coming in number 7, no Christmas Day presents. Most kids wake up on Christmas morning and can't wait to rush to that tree to see what Santa brought them. Although when it comes to Christmas morning for the royals, things are a little bit different. The royal children do quite the opposite than most around Christmas time and actually open up their presents on Christmas Eve, which means right away that the royal kids don't have the same traditions as everyone else. Apparently, this rule originated from a similar German tradition that the royal family has decided to follow for quite some time now. Although the bright side to this annoying rule is that they do get their presents before everyone else does, so that means more time to play on Christmas Day. Coming in number 6, dress code. Now, of course, if a dress code is in place for the adults of the royal family, you know the kids also have to follow similarly strict rules. That first time your parents let you dress yourself, in my opinion, is a really important moment for a kid. They actually give you the responsibility and trust you with whatever creative choices you decide to make. You know, aside from telling you not to put your pants on backwards. Most normal parents will just let their kids pick out their own clothes. However, you will never ever catch Princess Charlotte putting on, let's say, a Barbie dress or a JoJo Siwa shirt. You also will probably never see Prince George wearing a graphic tee of his favorite superhero. It's just the way it is for them. It may be annoying, but to keep that royal look, they must follow a strict dress code. Prince George will be wearing proper button-up shirts and shorts until he's about 8 years old. Plus, Princess Charlotte will always be in a dress with a cardigan, of course, depending on the weather. Coming in number 5, can't travel with parents. This point here actually shocked me a bit, but when you think about the worst case scenario, I get why they would put this rule in place. This rule was first made back when jetting off in an airplane was a much more risky way to travel. Because of this, royal officials decided that there needed to be measures in place just on the off chance that there was a fatal accident on the aircraft. If the entire royal lineage was on that plane, it could be really bad for the royal family. So ever since then, the king or queen or their heirs were never allowed to fly together on the same plane, which means that the Queen, Prince Charles, Prince William, and Prince George should never all board the same jet at the same time. However, in recent years, Her Majesty has relaxed this rule because air travel has gotten much safer over time. In fact, in 2014, William and Kate were allowed to take baby Prince George with them on a flight to Australia. Coming in number 4, boys can only wear shorts. Now, as I mentioned previously in my dress code point, Prince George must wear shorts as part of that until he's about 8 years old. In fact, not even a stiff breeze in the winter will put pants on a boy that is in the royal family. You see, in England, shorts represent a bougie and high status in society. I guess they are waiting for him to become a big boy before he can put on his big boy pants. What a strange and annoying rule to have to follow though, but at least it comes to an end at a certain age. Coming in number 3, no baby food allowed. Alright, who remembers the Gerber baby? Huh? Do you remember what your favorite kind of mushy baby food was? Well, the royal children certainly do not. One big rule for new parents of the royal family is that they must never give their kids canned food, including store-bought baby food. Instead, their mother's diet is usually fresh fruits and vegetables, as well as having a personal chef at their beck and call. Royal babies are expected to be eating twice pureed fruits, and the reason for having the fruits pureed twice is just so that there isn't any lumps in it. God forbid. Coming in number 2, males must serve in the military. For a very long time, the royal family and the armed forces have had an intimate association that dates back centuries. The Queen is also the official head of the British Armed Forces, which means that members of the Army and Air Force are required to pledge an oath of allegiance to the monarch. The only exception is the Royal Navy, because they were formed by the monarchy itself instead of the Parliament, which means that the oath is implicit. As a young princess, the Queen herself began a relationship with the British military in 1945 when she joined the Auxiliary Territorial Service, which made her the first female member of the royal family to actually join the armed forces as an active member. Aside from that though, most males in the royal family are required to serve in the military. Although this rule is not set in stone, it must be annoying to feel that pressure as a child to consider which section of the military that you're wanting to serve in. In the coming years though, this will certainly be something that we see Prince George needing to ponder. Last but certainly not least, on our number 1 spot, mandatory etiquette training. Something that was revealed back in 2015 by media outlet Express UK was what lessons British parents deem to be most important to teach their children. Typically, manners and respecting your elders reign supreme in this study, and even so, we bet these parents never considered sending their kids to be trained in these lessons. Yet for children of the royal family, they are put into this formal etiquette training as soon as they're old enough to sit at the table. Mika Meyer, who is an etiquette expert, explained this to People magazine, saying, "They are raised having formal meals, going to formal events, and practicing everything from voice levels to dressing appropriately to even, of course, how to curtsy and bow. The children in the wedding would have been very well prepared through rehearsals and even learned wedding specific behavior and protocol. You know, instead of just getting to enjoy the only time they have left as children. I mean, sure, manners are important to learn for public appearances, but I really hope that behind closed doors, they just let them act like kids." And that has been the top 10 annoying rules royal children must follow. But before we get out of here, I'm going to check out some of your comments from the video titled "Meghan Markle's sister predicts divorce, The Weeknd boycotts Grammys, and A-Rod back with Jennifer Lopez." Copper Blaze 22 says Meghan's family should be ignored by all media platforms. Hey man, they're getting clicks, so they're going to keep coming up. Eduardo Chesterfield says whether or not they divorce, Samantha will always be a clout-chasing leather purse with a bad haircut. That was a savage comment. Savage. Victoria Tunney says the only word needed is strange. She is not involved in their lives in any capacity. Anything that comes out of her trap is irrelevant. Facts though. Big facts. Ghost Dragon says age hit Meghan's sister like a football. You guys are on something today. Damn. Put a little haterade in the water. Shelby Stroud says it sounds like A-Rod and J-Lo are just trying to stay relevant. I think they're just celebrities that got into a fight and so the media just jumped on it. That's all it is. It's not always about staying relevant. They're pretty relevant. But that has been today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I've been your host, Johnny Rogers, and until next time, stay classy, YouTube.